This is Bob McElvain speaking. I'm going to talk today about our IOT and Remote O&M report. And it is an outgrowth of a report and newsletter that we've been writing since 1976. It started out on air pollution monitoring and it's kept expanding and expanding. And now it basically covers, all the measurement and guide and control activities for 23 areas of air, water, and energy, and so becomes a valuable research tool and marketing tool for anyone who's covering this broader area of air, liquid, and gas treatment. So we're going to move to our slideshow here, and yes, this is the IOT and Remote O&M report, and it does include a market forecast, newsletter, directory, and an acquisition analysis. It does include 68,000 continually updated forecasts with periodic Excel files are provided to give you the updates. There's a networking directory with many thousands of contacts. We do analyze the purchases by the top 100 customers. There's a monthly newsletter, acquisition database, and a number of recorded webinars, including very extensive ones on each industry that uses guide, control, and measure. So this whole market for IIoT and remote in this very defined area is about $300 billion a year. And the growth from 2016 to 2026 is now projected to be about closer to 6% rather than the 10% that we had originally forecasted back around the 2016 time frame. On the other hand, the EBITDA growth will be higher than the revenue growth, indicating higher profitability of IIoT and remote O&M products. The scope of this forecast just includes processes. It doesn't include automation of administrative activities, nor does it include discrete machine automation. In fact, the other way to define the scope is the applicability to the operation of filters, scrubbers, centrifuges, combustors, heat exchangers, fans, compressors, pumps, valves, and reactors. These are the subjects which are also forecasted in the McElvain NO64 Air, Water, and Energy report. The major forecast categories of guide, control, and measure have been utilized and were selected because they were the best segmentation of the different product groups. Guide includes the process management, data analytics, and subject matter expertise. McElvain has introduced a new category of subject matter, which is the ultra expert, which we call the SMUEs, subject matter ultra expert. These are experts who keep current through an industrial internet of wisdom. So it's not just enough to be an expert, it's focusing on this area on a continuing basis. And control includes SCADA, PLCs, wireless transmission, and cloud hardware. The measure is broken out into three areas, but includes sensors, analyzers, edge computing technologies to measure parameters relative to liquids, gases, and free-flowing solids. Since fans and pumps are used in the pertinent processes. The category also includes vibration measurement, corrosion, and other measurement used in combustion, separation technologies, transport, heat exchangers, evaporation, etc. So subscribers receive Excel files which they can manipulate. There are sort capabilities by subregion and the four world segments: Americas, Asia, EMEA, and Africa. And they're broken out into guide, control, air measurement, liquids, as well as free-flowing solids. And you can see the breakdown among the various different categories here, with control being the biggest segment. The forecasts are provided in each country for each of 17 different industries: chemical, petrochemical, food, iron and steel, metals, mining, oil and gas, upstream, oil and gas midstream, other electronics, other industries, pharmaceutical, power, pulp and paper, refining, semiconductors, wastewater, and then municipal water treatment as well. There is a continuous acquisition analysis. The June 22 editions cover the 80 acquisitions by AMETEK, provide an analysis of magnetrol. This acquisition gives AMETEK leadership in a number of market niches. These are summarized in the June issue. There are links to previous issues analyzing magnetrol marketing strategy, including advertising expenditures in certain magazines, with comparison to AMETEK. Certainly the advertising analysis is one way that we try to determine the strategies of these various companies and where they exhibit, where they advertise, etc. The older acquisition articles are important, and here's the reason why. The newsletter covered the initial purchase public offering of Environmental SA in 2007, and its acquisition most recently by Carlyle in 2020. So typically, financial information becomes scarce when a private equity firm makes an acquisition. So information from previous acquisition transactions becomes important. And it's interesting in the case of Envea, when it was Environmental and before it was public, we knew little about it was very difficult to get information about what the size of the revenues are by market, et cetera. In 2007, when it became a public company, then this became very valuable information to have. But now that it's part of Carlyle, all that information disappears. So it's very important that we have all that interim analysis in our newsletters. The acquisitions of ISAO, Becker, Amiza, Alltech here in the United States, PCME out of the UK, which was done maybe 10, 15 years ago, and TDL, all have been acquired in the 2007-2020 period. So the newsletter has close to 100 articles on these Envea subsidiaries, at the time they were acquired. It does have information on a continuing basis of the products that they have been offering in the industries where they're involved. These certainly shed light on any additional acquisitions. And here is the acquisition database information, where we excerpted just a few articles from the most recent acquisitions. But as you see, going back here, it would have all this older information, as we've just talked about, tracing the environmental growth all the way back, actually into the 1990s. We've the online database goes back only to 2003, but we've actually been writing the newsletter since 1976. So in some cases, we'd have to go back to printed copies, but in any case, since 2003, it has been all online and is searchable. So for instance, here would be the table of contents, and we've got a 20-page newsletter or more each month. And we get into the markets, why it's ebbing and flowing, the applications. And here we get into some of the companies we cover in our other publications, like Babcock and Wilcox is a large supplier of power generation and all the air pollution and water pollution equipment to go along with it. So a lot of the expertise relative to the IIoT and remote O&M is based on the process knowledge that comes from companies like B&W and Siemens, and ABB is more into the analyzer and IIoT area, but Baker uses the process equipment along with the IIoT. And somebody like Valmet, which just expanded by buying Nellis and is in the IIoT and remote O&M, but also in a lot of these processes. And then again, here are these acquisitions that we're covering on a monthly basis. And somebody like Magnetrol, who's a leader in niche markets, such as SMR and hydrogen, become particularly interesting because these are growth markets, steam methane, and hydrogen. And they are, particularly now with the shortage of energy due to the Russian crisis, a lot of these are processes that are now going to have to be accelerated to produce hydrogen for combustion without the CO2. So it's important to learn this sort of information as well. And so this is it comes out on a monthly basis. We do have information on the purchases by the top 100 or 200 companies. Here you see 5 companies in the food area and how their estimate of their purchases breaks out by the area of the world, and then by the guide, control, and measure. Finally, there's a networking directory. It's got contacts at all the OEM companies around the world. And you actually literally can see an overview that just lists the companies in the office and the products in each office. And this is free of charge, and it's up on our website under this view and correct your product listings. And if you don't find it there immediately, you go to free news in the beginning of the website, and it'll lead you to this. But we do have the search by company name, product analysis by financial entity. You can search companies by service, by state, and with the company name order, and search by person name, and search by country, or some kind of combinations like country and service. So this is a quick overview of what's in our IoT and remote O&M report. It is a growing market, certainly at 6% per year. It's a very attractive market. But again, it is particularly important from the standpoint that combining the IIoT as part of the solutions package, it is very valuable for your process companies as well. This is Bob McIlvaine, thanking you for spending some time with us today. You can get a hold of me at 847-226-2391. I'd be glad to talk to you about this report or any of our reports. And this is Bob McElvain signing off for now. Thank you.